Motor City, it's a city in crisis this morning as Detroit has filed for bankruptcy, becoming now the largest American city ever to fold. Talking about a city that for decades and decades was the symbol of American corporate strength.
We've come through a very difficult period in our nation's history.
We respected the presidency as a place of honor until the shock of Watergate.
I have concluded that because of the Watergate matter, I might not have the support of the Congress to back the very difficult decisions and carry out the duties of this office in the way the interests of the nation will require. Therefore, I shall resign the presidency effective at noon tomorrow.
Confidence that we have always had as a people is not simply some romantic dream or a proverb in a dusty book. We've always believed in something called progress. We've always had a faith that the days of our children would be better than our own. Our people are losing that faith.
In the middle of the worst economic slowdown of the last 40 years, more than 7.5 million people who want to work cannot find because of high unemployment and idle factories. The energy shortage is permanent. There is no way we can solve it quickly.
Did you ever think that this would happen to the most advanced industrial nation in the world?
No. We use more than our share of the natural resources. We know this. But we kind of thought it was going to go on forever.
How much have you got left in there?
None. It's empty. There is no work. There's none to get.
So what are you going to do?
There's nothing that we can do right at the moment, so we just have to resort to some other source of heat.
We'll emphasize research on solar energy and other renewable energy sources.
I happen to believe the last thing your industry needs is the federal government bringing in outsiders to tell you how to run your business and how much to pay your workers.
I have said to myself and to others that this is a Pearl Harbor again. I think that there's no question but what our national leadership of our country is one that has really let us down.
One road is timid and fearful, the other bold and hopeful.
We will be preserving for future generations of Americans a highway system that has truly made the average American driver king of the road. The bridges and highways we fail to repair today will have to be rebuilt tomorrow, at many times the cost. Good tax policy decrees that wherever possible, a fee for a service should be assessed against those who directly benefit from that service. Our highways were built largely with such a user fee, the gasoline tax. I think it makes sense to follow that principle in restoring them to the condition we all want them to be in.
Our bill calls for a 25% in the income tax rate reduction over 3 years. There are deductions to encourage investment and savings. Business gets realistic depreciation on equipment and machinery. It will do a much better job promoting the surge in investment we so badly need to rebuild our industrial base.
In a time of great uncertainty, more than $50 billion has been spent by your industry, scrapping old plants, building new ones, developing technology, and retraining employees. I understand that General Motors chose this site over 3 less costly locations, permitting them to put laid-off General Motors employees back to work. The auto industry, like the rest of the country, was on the edge of catastrophe. In 1980 alone, the Big Three lost $4 billion. Then came the recession. We immediately moved to reduce the regulatory burden which bound the hands of our most productive citizens with federal red tape. Let our competitors take note today. The American automobile industry is back back with pride, back with teamwork, and back with performance.
Despite Detroit's questionable reputation, this is what the downtown looks like today.
You feel safe. It's just vibrant down here.
Detroit now is alive.
How would you describe it growing up?
Just sort of a place my parents said not to go.
How would you describe it now?
The buses run on time, the garbage is being picked up, lights being removed, street lights are on.
More than 100 square miles outside of the city center where many people are still living in Detroit's historic blight. And the mayor says it's his #1 goal to fix that. So far, the city has sold more than 8,000 side lots for $100 and sold off more than 4,000 dilapidated homes.